Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. And Monday Night Raw tonight, the show was absolutely boring. The show fucking sucked. In the first hour, pretty much nothing happened. All we got was Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins and the Judgment Day coming out. You know, your typical, Judgment Day and other, segment that we get every single week. Then we had a tag team match. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn teamed up to take on, Dominik Mysterio and JD McDonagh. And then after that, we have Rhea Ripley cut a promo on Zoe Stark. The whole first hour dedicated to the Judgment Day. So we saw that. And then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Otis. Tegan took on Piper Niven. Ludwig Kaiser took on Tommaso Ciampa. Xia Li ended up taking on Indi Hartwell. You had the Miz versus Ivar. And the main event, the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship was on the line. Damian Priest and Finn Balor defended the titles against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And of course, tonight, we finally got what we wanted with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre turned heel tonight. So his heel turn came into play tonight. But overall, Monday Night Raw, absolutely boring show this was. This show sucked. But before I get into the review, if you guys haven't checked out my previous video that I uploaded earlier, I did a DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K update. If you guys haven't seen it, so definitely check that out. So give that a watch. A lot of good titles that I showed it in that update. So make sure to give it a watch. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up from Washington, D.C. with, whoa, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ended up coming out, of course, sing along with the crowd, of course, going, whoa. So Cody got into the ring. He ended up asking Washington, D.C. what they want to talk about. He ended up saying that him and Jey Uso want to give fans a memory tonight. Cody ended up saying that they will win back the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. So Cody ended up saying, while that's the immediate future, there is another important match to look ahead to, and that is the men's War Games match. So we had Jey Uso end up making his way out. Everybody's doing the Jey Uso. And then Sami Zayn came out. And then, of course, whoa, Seth Rollins. So we had two sing-alongs in this whole segment here. So Cody ended up saying that all four men are in the ring for one reason. Whether he's gotten along with them for all their careers recently or as former rivals. So then the Judgment Day ended up coming out. We had Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominik Mysterio, and JD McDonagh. They ended up coming out. So Balor got on the mic. He ended up asking Jey, Sami, Rollins, and Cody, how they're going to win War Games. And Damian Priest ended up pointing out that they're just four random men who are going against a family. So Balor ended up asking Rollins how it feels to be World Heavyweight Champion, standing next to Cody Rhodes, who he could never beat. So then Damian Priest ended up asking Cody how he can beat all his teammates, but never be champion. So Balor ended up telling Sami Zayn that his partners know he's a loser after last week. So Priest ended up questioning whether Jay can really be trusted. So then Dominik was looking to speak, and of course, the piped-in boos came into play. You know, we're like still in the Thunderdome here, you know, with the piped-in boos. So Sami Zayn ended up saying that the truth is no one wants to hear Dominik talk. He ended up saying while Judgment Day wants to pit him and his teammates against each other, they're about to pull all their issues aside. So we had Sami Zayn end up telling the Judgment Day that they don't know what they're in for. He ended up saying that the group will find out the hard way, that the power lies with him and his teammates. So Cody ended up saying that he was surprised to see the Judgment Day come out without Mami, given that she's the leader. So Damian Priest ended up saying that there is no leader of the Judgment Day. So then Cody ended up asking if Dominik gets the orders when Rhea Ripley isn't around. So Priest ended up becoming frustrated. So Damian Priest ended up calling himself the leader of the Judgment Day. Oh, so Damian Priest is now the leader, when we all thought it was Rhea Ripley who was the leader. So there you go. Damian Priest officially called himself the leader of the Judgment Day. So Rollins ended up saying to Priest, is he done talking yet? So Rollins ended up proposing a tag team match, seeing as himself, Sami Zayn, Dominik, and JD McDonagh are dressed in their wrestling gear. So Priest ended up accepting on behalf of Dominik and McDonagh. So that was basically how the segment ended. But, you know, your typical Monday Night Raw open, you have the Judgment Day come out there, and then you have Cody Rhodes, and then you have Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. It's the same shit that we see every single week. It's like nothing new could open the show. It's always got to be the same people that we see. The Judgment Day, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, you know, Cody Rhodes. Let's get something different to open Monday Night Raw. You know, aside from the same people that we see open up the show every single week. Let's get something new. And then we had the first match of the night. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn versus Dominik Mysterio and JD McDonagh. Of course, JD McDonagh is, you know, officially part of the Judgment Day. So they end up saying it. And this was just a okay matchup here. So the match got underway. Rollins and McDonagh began the match. Rollins and McDonagh ended up locking up. Rollins ended up landing a shoulder tackle, and he ended up executing an arm drag to McDonagh. So then Rollins followed up with a kick to McDonough's midsection, and he was sent up to go for the pedigree on McDonagh, but Dominik pulled McDonagh out of the ring. Rollins ended up going after McDonagh. McDonagh ended up taking advantage. He ended up clocking Rollins from behind. So Dominik ended up becoming the legal man, and Rollins ended up leveling Dominik. Sami Zayn ended up tagging in. He started delivering some right hands on Dominik in the corner, and he ended up sending Dominik crashing into the top turnbuckle face first. And so Sami Zayn delivered an elbow off the middle rope to Dominik. Rollins and McDonagh ended up taking back in. McDonagh started firing off some stomps on Rollins in the corner. Dominik ended up tagging in, and he was looking to go for the Three Amigos, you know, of course, made by the late, great Eddie Guerrero, which today, sadly, you know, makes 18 years that we lost Eddie Guerrero. You know, I remember that day. I remember going on to WWE.com and, you know, said, you know, Eddie Guerrero, you know, passed away, which I thought it was a hoax at first. But then I went on to, you know, of course, WWE.com, and, you know, it was made official. I remember they did like a little like press conference with Vince McMahon and Chavo Guerrero. This was hours before Monday Night Raw. And, then, Monday Night Raw went on the air, and, just they did a whole Eddie Guerrero tribute show, which, was absolutely great. But very sad. I can't believe it's been 18 years since Eddie passed. Crazy. But Dominik ended up doing 2 suplexes, but Rollins reversed the 3rd suplex, and Rollins ended up sending Dominik crashing into the mat. Sami Zayn ended up tagging in, and he delivered a clothesline. Jada McDonagh then pulled Dominik out of the ring, and Jada McDonagh and Dominik looked like they were going to head to the back. So then Rollins and Sami Zayn ended up going after McDonagh and Dominik. Rollins ended up sending McDonagh crashing into the barricade face first. Sami Zayn then delivered an Explorer suplex to Dominik in the corner. Sami Zayn was going for the haluva kick to Dominik, but Dominik ended up moving out of the way. McDonagh ended up trying to interfere, but Rollins ended up sending McDonagh crashing out of the ring. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn end up delivering suicide dives to both Dominik and Jada McDonagh on the outside. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Sami Zayn was in control of the match. He ended up catapulting McDonagh into the corner. Rollins and Dominik end up becoming legal men in the match. Rollins ended up leveling Dominik with a boot. Rollins then followed up with a sling blade to Dominik and then a gut buster. Rollins then executed a buckle bomb to Dominik. So Damian Priest and Finn Balor end up appearing to blindside Rollins, and that caused the match to go to a disqualification. So Rhea Ripley was also out there, and post-match the Judgment Day ended up attacking Rollins and Sami Zayn. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso ran down to help them. So we had all these guys end up brawling. Adam Pearce came out there. Security ended up running down to break things up. And Adam Pearce was in the ring. He got on the mic. He was very frustrated. He ended up saying that those currently at ringside that are not involved in the Undisputed Tag Team match later tonight will be banned from the arena. So that was that. Overall, it was, an okay match here. With Jada McDonagh and Dominik Mysterio, Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn. Obviously, I knew at some point, you had Balor and Damian Priest come out there to, cause a disqualification for the match. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Rhea Ripley was yelling at Adam Pearce in the ring. They were both still in there before Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Rhea Ripley and Adam Pearce, they were bickering back and forth to each other. Well, Rhea Ripley wasn't happy that Adam Pearce banned the Judgment Day from the arena. So Adam Pearce ended up telling Rhea Ripley that he doesn't care and that the Judgment Day doesn't run Raw because he does. He's the general manager of Monday Night Raw. I gotta say, Adam Pearce is doing a very good job, as the general manager of Monday Night Raw. So Adam Pearce ended up making it clear that Rhea Ripley isn't welcome at ringside either during the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match later on, which of course was the main event. So Zoe Stark ended up coming out. So Zoe Stark ended up telling Rhea Ripley that she knows exactly what she's doing in the ring. And she ended up telling Rhea that she's inside her head. Zoe Stark ended up saying that Rhea Ripley is spread too thin and worried about too many things, including her Women's World Championship. So Zoe Stark ended up saying that she went through the entire women's division to secure her title match. And she ended up saying that Rhea Ripley has been overlooking her. So Rhea Ripley ended up assuring Zoe Stark that such isn't the case, and she knew it was only a matter of time before they stood face to face in the ring. So Rhea Ripley ended up listing off her accomplishments over the past few months. she ended up telling Zoe Stark that she reminded her of herself. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that she is a future champion. Zoe Stark is a future champion. But the only way she will be a title holder is by being on the opposite brand that she is. So Rhea Ripley ended up saying that Zoe Stark can handle everything on her plate. She ended up telling Zoe Stark to get out of her ring so she can deal with Adam Pearce. Zoe Stark ended up reminding Rhea Ripley that she nearly took her Women's World Championship from her at Crown Jewel. And Zoe Stark ended up saying that she will take Rhea's title from her at Survivor Series. So Rhea Ripley ended up clocking Zoe Stark from behind, but Zoe Stark ended up low-bridging Rhea Ripley out of the ring, and that was basically that. Overall, Rhea Ripley here delivered a very good promo here on Zoe Stark. Rhea Ripley had that intensity in her during her promo here. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we went backstage, and we saw Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Cody ended up asking Seth Rollins to talk. Rollins ended up asking Cody what he wants. And Cody ended up saying that they can hate each other for 364 days of the year, except for November 25th in the men's War Games match. Rollins ended up saying that he doesn't like Cody and doesn't know if he ever will. But he respects Cody, and he's willing to put their differences aside for just one night. Rollins then wished Cody luck in his Undisputed Tag Team Championship match later on the night with Jey Uso and the Judgment Day. And so Rollins ended up telling Cody to win the titles. So pretty much that was basically that. But I have a feeling that WWE is going to give us another match with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and that's going to come at WrestleMania. I mean, do we really need another Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match? I don't want to see them go at it again. How many times have we seen them go at it? I mean, what else could they do in this feud with Cody and Rollins? What else? I don't want to see another match between these two. And then we had Otis versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, before the match, delivered a promo, in Japanese, of course. I like that they're making Nakamura speak Japanese instead of, English. That's good on them doing that for Nakamura. So, but the match itself, it was meh, in my opinion. So Otis and Nakamura end up locking up. Nakamura ended up signaling for a test of strength on Otis. He ended up kicking and punching Otis in his midsection. Otis then headbutted Nakamura. Nakamura then responded with some kicks to Otis' midsection. And Nakamura delivered a spin kick that made Otis stumble a little bit. Nakamura then wrenched Otis' arm, but Otis ended up countering by scooping Nakamura up and slamming Nakamura down. Otis then ended up hitting a running hip attack in the corner, and he dug his boot into Nakamura's chest. So Nakamura ended up getting up, and Otis avalanched Nakamura in the corner. He then grabbed Nakamura, started clubbing him a few times. Otis then started the caterpillar, but Nakamura ended up rolling out of the ring and waved Otis off. Nakamura then yelled at the crowd, and then he ended up turning into a clothesline from Otis. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Nakamura. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Nakamura was in control of the match. He ended up kicking away at Otis. Otis ended up blocking a kick from Nakamura and powerbombed Nakamura down. So both Otis and Nakamura were down. Otis got up. He ended up running through a clothesline an elbow to Nakamura, and then he connected with a shoulder tackle. Otis then elbowed Nakamura to the corner. Otis then sent Nakamura to the opposite corner for a running back elbow. Otis then clotheslined Nakamura down. He ripped off his shirt. Otis ended up doing the caterpillar elbow drop to Nakamura. He went for the cover. Nakamura kicked out. So Otis ended up putting Nakamura on the top rope. He was set up to go for a superplex, but Nakamura slipped underneath. He ended up pulling his feet to rip Otis off the ropes. Nakamura then connected with a spin kick to Otis's head. Nakamura then went for the Kinshasa, but Otis countered that with a World's Strongest Slam. He ended up going for the cover, and Nakamura ended up kicking out. So we had, at the end of the match, Nakamura connected with a Kinshasa to the back of Otis's head. Otis started to stir and get up, and Nakamura ended up hitting Otis with another Kinshasa. Otis was down. Nakamura ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Shinsuke Nakamura ended up winning the match. Post-match, the Alpha Academy got into the ring to check on Otis. Nakamura then shoved Chad Gable, and Nakamura then challenged Chad Gable. Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa ended up holding Gable back. Nakamura ended up telling Gable to shush, and he got out of the ring. And Nakamura ended up yelling at Chad Gable. Nakamura, of course, did his "Come on!" to Chad Gable, and that was pretty much basically that. But Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Otis, and Nakamura will go up against Chad Gable, possibly next week on Monday Night Raw. So Nakamura could possibly get his win over Chad Gable next week. And then we saw Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was walking backstage, and he ended up seeing Drew McIntyre. McIntyre ended up saying when Rollins told him that when he lost that crown jewel, he had no one to blame but himself. And he ended up saying that Rollins was right. So McIntyre ended up saying that Rollins was also right when he said it might be the best thing that ever happened to him. He ended up saying that there was something he's been waiting to give Rollins since last Saturday. McIntyre then extended his hand for Rollins to shake it. Rollins did eventually shake McIntyre's hand. McIntyre ended up saying that Rollins represents the title well, and he'll work his arse off to get another match. Rollins ended up saying that he knows McIntyre will. And so he walked off, and pretty much that was basically that. Maybe, McIntyre will get his rematch soon against Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. So when that rematch happens, it's going to be a good match. And then we had Piper Niven versus Tegan Knox. Piper Niven was accompanied by Chelsea Green. Tegan Knox was accompanied by Natalya. And what a boring match this was. This match was awful. Tegan Knox immediately ended up hitting a drop kick in the back elbow to Piper Niven after the bell rang. Piper Niven didn't leave her feet, so that drop kick and back elbow from Tegan Knox did nothing to Piper Niven. Tegan Knox ended up knocking Piper Niven back to the corner, ended up hitting an avalanche. She ended up going for the coverage, which Piper Niven ended up kicking out. Tegan Knox ended up punching Piper Niven into the opposite corner, but Piper Niven ended up shoving Tegan Knox off. Piper Niven ended up dropping Tegan Knox on the apron, started punching her. Piper Niven ended up grabbing Tegan Knox and suplexed her back into the ring. Piper Niven then connected with a senton splash, to which she ended up going for the cover, to which Tegan Knox ended up kicking out. So Piper Niven slammed Tegan Knox's left arm off the mat a few times, and she stood on it. Piper Niven then ended up splashing Tegan Knox's arm. So Tegan Knox was clutching her arm in pain. We had a chant of Tegan pick up, a little bit. So at the end of the match, we had Chelsea Green end up getting on the apron. She distracted Tegan Nox. Piper Niven then clotheslined Tegan Nox down. Natalya got in Chelsea Green's face and shoved Chelsea Green down on the apron. Piper Niven then knocked Natalya off the apron, and she ended up going for a basement crossbody block, but Tegan Nox moved out of the way. Tegan Nox hit the shiniest wizard, and Piper Niven ended up getting a foot on the bottom rope, while Tegan Nox ended up going for the pin. So Piper Niven got her foot on the bottom rope to break up the pin. So Tegan Nox ended up hitting a back body drop to Piper Niven. Tegan Nox ended up trying to counter into a sunset flip, but Piper Niven didn't go down. Tegan Nox ended up avoiding a cannonball and rolled Piper Niven up. So there you go. Tegan Nox ended up winning the match. Overall, awful match this was. Absolutely boring. And the crowd did not even give a shit as well. Whereas the crowd was pretty much dead throughout the night. I don't know what was going on, with the Washington, D.C. crowd there. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with The Miz, and she ended up asking The Miz with Pressure Mountain for him to become a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. How is he preparing? So The Miz ended up saying to Jackie Redmond that he got a bus, and it took him a long time, but he got it. Miz ended up saying that he wants this match to restore respect for the Intercontinental Championship and his legacy. The Miz ended up saying that he isn't happy that Gunther has been calling him names, and he imitates Gunther as if he was Arnold Schwarzenegger, which, Miz tried to do, a impression of Gunther, and it just came out sounding like Schwarzenegger. So Ivar walked up alongside Valhalla. Ivar ended up saying that Miz is a joke, and that Miz cannot look past it, and he will not be making it to Survivor Series. So then Bronson Reed walked up. Bronson Reed ended up saying that Miz and Ivar are both lucky to be standing here. He ended up saying that the only person who is luckier is Gunther, because he managed to escape him. Ivar ended up saying that Bronson Reed had his chance and didn't win the title. So Bronson Reed warned Ivar to watch out, or he'll send him back to his gods as a failure. Bronson Reed then ended up telling Valhalla to make sure Ivar smartens up. There you go. That was basically that. And then we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Ludwig Kaiser. Of course, Ciampa accompanied by Johnny Gargano, Kaiser accompanied by Giovanni Vinci. This was a okay match here. So the match ended up starting. Kaiser ended up quickly getting out of the ring to make Ciampa wait. Kaiser got into the ring and took it to Ciampa, but Ciampa ended up sending Kaiser over the top rope, and he ended up kicking Kaiser. Ciampa went to the outside. He bounced Kaiser off the commentary table. Ciampa got Kaiser back in the ring and delivered a running chop to Kaiser. Kaiser then raked Ciampa's eyes, and he delivered an uppercut to him. Kaiser started stomping away at Ciampa, and the ref ended up backing him up. Kaiser sent Ciampa into the ropes, but Ciampa ended up sliding between Kaiser's legs, and Ciampa then ended up hitting a jawbreaker to Kaiser. Ciampa ended up taking Kaiser down with a clothesline. He ended up going for the cover, to which Kaiser ended up kicking out at 1. So Kaiser ended up fighting back. He ended up hitting a running boot to Ciampa's chest. Kaiser ended up sending Ciampa into the ropes. He lowered his head, and he ended up eating a kick. Ciampa then hit the ropes, and Vinci ended up grabbing Ciampa's leg. And so Kaiser used that distraction to clothesline Ciampa down, and the referee was deducing what happened, and so the ref ended up ejecting Giovanni Vinci from ringside, to which that pissed off Kaiser. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from commercial, Kaiser was in control of the match. He ended up applying a chin lock to Ciampa. Ciampa ended up fighting up. He ended up hitting a death press to Kaiser. Ciampa started punching and clotheslining Kaiser, and then he ended up pinning a reverse DDT to Kaiser, to which he ended up going for the cover, and Kaiser ended up kicking out. So then later on, we had Ciampa end up countering Kaiser with a air raid siren attempt. Kaiser ended up sliding out, and he pulled Ciampa down. Ciampa ended up coming back with a right hand that stunned Kaiser. Kaiser then delivered an uppercut, and he came off the second rope, but Ciampa ended up kneeing Kaiser in his face out of midair. Giovanni Vinci returned to ringside and kicked Gargano in the face to distract Ciampa, and that led to Kaiser rolling up Ciampa. So there you go. Kaiser ended up winning the match. Overall, the match was okay, but of course the crowd was dead here still. Crowd was in a coma. And then we saw the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day were in their locker room. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that they need to focus on the tag team title match. She ended up suggesting they ask their fearless leader in Damian Priest. Damian Priest ended up saying that he got a little upset and said what he said. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that it would be good for War Games if Damian Priest was in charge. Rhea Ripley then mentioned that Priest could be sitting in the trainer's room if it weren't for JD McDonagh. So she ended up saying that they think it's time to make McDonagh a full member of the Judgment Day. Priest ended up saying that he is okay with it and will handle it himself. There you go. JD McDonagh is now a full member of the Judgment Day, which we all called. We all said, oh, well, JD McDonagh would fit well in the Judgment Day. And look at it. He fits right in. And then we had Xia Li versus Indi Hartwell. Indi Hartwell was accompanied by Candice LeRae. This was another boring match here. So Indi Hartwell ended up immediately big booting Xia Li down. She ended up going for the cover, and Xia Li ended up kicking out. So Indi Hartwell continued to attack Xia Li and got her to ringside. Hartwell ended up lifting Xia Li up, but Xia Li slid off and sent Indi Hartwell into the ring steps. Xia Li ended up getting Hartwell into the ring, ended up kicking her in the corner. Xia Li ended up connecting with a suplex to Indi Hartwell. She ended up going for the cover, and Hartwell ended up kicking out. So we had Xia Li end up knocking Indi Hartwell back. She ended up hitting a spinning heel kick to Indi's skull. And so Xia Li hit the ropes. Indi Hartwell ended up collapsing. The ref then checked on Indi Hartwell and called for the bell. So Xia Li ended up winning the match. You know, it's just the same spinning heel kick that took out Candice LeRae 2 weeks ago and also took out Becky Lynch last week. So post-match, Becky Lynch made her way to the ring. Becky ended up saying after that kick to the head, she's no longer wanting to fight Xia Li on her time. Becky Lynch ended up saying that it's going to be on her time now. She ended up saying that the man has come around to Washington, D.C. and is looking for a fight. Becky Lynch then got into the ring. She ended up going for the manhandle slam, but Xia Li ended up escaping. Becky Lynch ended up saying that she can only run for the next 7 days because she'll face her next week on Monday Night Raw. So there we go. Becky Lynch versus Xia Li next week on Monday Night Raw. And then we saw The Miz. The Miz was warming up, and Gunther walked up to him. Gunther ended up calling The Miz Mike, of course, by his first name. He congratulated Miz on winning when no one thought it was possible. He ended up saying that it wasn't a decisive victory, but the time for fun and games is over. Miz then ended up telling Gunther to watch his match to understand who he will be facing at Survivor Series. So Miz ended up saying that Gunther will learn the difference between longest reigning and greatest of all time. Gunther ended up saying no matter what happens tonight will be nothing compared to the beating of a lifetime that awaits Miz at Survivor Series. So that was that. Of course, the Miz is going to get squashed by Gunther at Survivor Series, without a doubt. And then we had Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. They were backstage in the locker room, and Shayna Baszler was talking about Zoe Stark's match against Rhea Ripley. Baszler ended up saying that she should have been champion at Crown Jewel and should have won the Battle Royal. But Baszler ended up saying that she has been impressed with Zoe Stark lately. Raquel Rodriguez, Smiley Raquel, in her pearly whites, walked in. She ended up saying that they both had to team up to get her out of the match. She ended up saying that she does acknowledge that Stark has been on a roll. And then, of course, Nia Jax came in. She ended up saying that she also squashed Zoe Stark. So the three of them ganged up on her. Raquel Rodriguez ended up wondering if Nia Jax is so tough, then why isn't she champion? Please don't mention that. Please don't mention Nia Jax and champion together. So Raquel ended up saying that she isn't afraid of Nia Jax and will beat her the next time they meet in the ring. So that was pretty much basically that. And then we had Ivar versus The Miz. And this was a decent match here. Match started off with Miz ducking a right hand from Ivar. Miz ended up hitting a jab to Ivar. Miz ended up going for a waistlock, but Ivar ended up fighting out. Miz connected with another jab to Ivar's face. Ivar then got Miz in the corner, ended up hitting some back elbows to Miz's face. Ivar then sent Miz into the opposite corner, but Miz booted Ivar back. Miz came off the second rope with a flying hurricanrana, which, that was new for the Miz. We never seen Miz do a hurricanrana. So Miz then clotheslined Ivar twice against the ropes, but Ivar didn't go down. Ivar ended up fighting back. He ended up hitting the ropes, but Miz ended up following Ivar and clotheslined him over the top rope. Miz then ended up hitting a baseball slide to Ivar. He ended up going outside and grabbed Ivar, but Ivar shoved Miz into the LED apron. Valhalla then was heard screaming at the Miz, and Ivar smashed Miz against the LED apron with a basement crossbody block. So then Ivar got Miz in the ring, ended up kicking Miz in his face. Ivar ended up sizing Miz up and grabbed him for a right hand. Miz fought back and flipped through a back suplex attempt. Miz then ended up booting Ivar back, started striking away at him. We had, later on, Bronson Reed end up making his way to ringside to watch the match. Miz grabbed Ivar and scaled the ropes for a bulldog, and he ended up going for the cover, and Ivar ended up kicking out. So Bronson Reed ended up grabbing a steel chair, and it looked like Bronson Reed was going to hit the Miz with the chair. But Bronson Reed instead unfolded the chair and took a seat. So he was watching the match. Then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Miz was in control of the match. He ended up hitting Ivar with a corner clothesline. And Ivar didn't feel that. So he then ended up slamming Miz down. Ivar then ended up hitting a sit-out Tiger Bomb on the Miz. He ended up going for the cover, and Miz ended up kicking out. So Bronson Reed was shown smiling. He was liking what he was seeing. We had Miz end up doing the ick kicks to Ivar. We had Miz end up stumbling into the ropes. Valhalla ended up grabbing Miz's ankle. Ivar then wiped Miz out with a spin kick. He ended up going for the cover, and Ivar ended up kicking out. So we had Ivar later on end up hitting the Miz with the World's Strongest Slam off the second rope. He ended up going for the cover, and Miz ended up kicking out. Ivar couldn't believe that. So Ivar headed to the second rope. Bronson Reed got up from the chair and distracted Ivar. Miz then powerbombed Ivar off the middle ropes. He got his feet on the ropes, and he ended up rolling Ivar up to get the win. So there you go. The Miz ended up winning the match. Post-match, Ivar was irate. He stared at the Miz. Ivar ended up turned into an avalanche from Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed ripped his shirt off. He went to the top rope, and Bronson Reed connected with the tsunami on Ivar, and that was basically that. Overall, this was an okay match from The Miz and Ivar. And then we had Jaden McDonagh. Jaden McDonagh was walking backstage, and Damian Priest came up to him. Priest ended up telling McDonagh that he doesn't think he's ready, and McDonagh really pisses him off. He ended up saying McDonagh took one for the team, and as someone Priest can go to war with. So Priest welcomed McDonagh to the Judgment Day. Finn Balor walked up. He ended up saying that the celebration needs to be put on hold, since McDonagh and Dominik have to leave the building, has to leave the arena, because of Adam Pearce's rules. So Balor ended up saying that it's time to show that they are the best tag team in the world. So that was that. And then we had Gunther with Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Gunther ended up praising Vinci for a job well done. And Kaiser ended up thinking that Gunther is talking about him. Gunther ended up saying that he isn't talking about Kaiser. So Gunther ended up praising Vinci. He ended up saying that he won the match for Imperium tonight. Gunther then turned and stared Kaiser in the eyes, and he ended up walking off. So that was basically that. And then we saw Otis. Otis ended up apologizing to Chad Gable. Akira Tozawa and the Creed brothers were there as well. Chad Gable ended up saying that he'll take care of Nakamura next week on Raw. So the Creed brothers ended up mentioning that they might need new training partners. Brutus Creed ended up saying that they want to go after the tag team titles. And so then New Day ended up walking up. Ended up saying that you can't talk about those titles without talking about them. So the New Day and, the Alpha Academy, they began to argue. Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile were standing with each other. They ended up complimenting each other. Akira Tozawa then ended up shushing everyone. He ended up saying that he wants the tag team titles, and then he did his dance. And Tozawa was wearing the Washington, title, on him. So, but that was that. But awful. Akira Tozawa is just he thinks that he's funny, but he's really not, because we're all just laughing at Akira Tozawa. So I forgot to mention we saw Indi Hartwell tonight. Yeah, we saw Jinder Mahal, Veer, and Sangha. Yeah. Who cares about Indi Hartwell? They haven't been on TV in how long? And now they give them TV time, tonight. Main event. The Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship on the line. Finn Balor and Damian Priest defend the titles against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And this was a good match here. Jey Uso and Finn Balor started off. They both end up locking up. Balor ended up hooking a side headlock, and Jey whipped Balor off. Balor then shoulder tackled Jey. Balor then hit the ropes, but Jey ended up flooring Balor with a back elbow. Jey then ended up slapping Balor in the face. Balor then slapped Jey back. So the two teams were brawling. Cody ended up knocking Priest out of the ring. Jay ended up reversing the whip into the corner, and Balor ended up hitting hard. Jay ended up wrenching Balor's arm and tagged Cody in. Cody ended up coming off the ropes with an elbow to Balor's arm. Cody ended up hooking the head. He ended up executing a delayed vertical front suplex to Balor, which was awesome. So Cody ended up going for the cover, and Balor ended up kicking out. Jay then ended up tagging in, and he started punching Balor in his midsection. Balor then stumbled to the corner. He ended up kicking Jay in his midsection and ended up putting him in the corner. Damian Priest ended up tagging in. He ended up uppercutting Jay down. So Priest ended up throwing Jay into the corner. Priest started punching and stomping Jay down. And Balor ended up tagging in. Priest then ended up kicking Jay, and Balor followed up with a scissor kick, which was nice on Jay. So Balor ended up going for the cover, and Jay ended up kicking out. Balor then ended up applying a chin lock on Jay, but Jay ended up firing up. But Balor ended up taking Jay down. Balor then started punching and stomping on Jay. Cody got in the ring and stopped Priest from getting in the ring. Jay ended up sending Balor out of the ring. Cody ended up knocking Priest out of the ring and bounced Priest off the commentary table. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Jay was fighting back against Balor with some punches. Jay ended up tackling Balor in the corner, and Cody ended up tagging in. Cody ended up sending Balor into the ropes and turning him inside out with a knee to his midsection. Balor then wrenched the arm, but Cody ended up cartwheeling through and applied a side headlock. Balor then ended up whipping Cody off, and Cody ended up lifting him up. Priest then distracted the ref, and Balor ended up using that distraction to rake Cody's eyes. Balor then ended up getting Cody in the corner and tagged Priest in. So Priest started punching away at Cody, ended up taking him down. Priest ended up delivering some jabs to Cody. Priest then ended up driving his boot into Cody's throat, and he had to release it because he didn't want to get disqualified. So at the end of the match, we had Jay ended up taking out Priest and Balor with a somersault senton. Jay ended up putting Balor in the ring, and he turned to see Drew McIntyre standing out there. McIntyre angrily stared at Jay, and then McIntyre ended up leveling Jay with the Claymore. So McIntyre ended up putting Jay in the ring. He ended up walking away. Balor looked surprised by that. So Balor then ended up going for the cover on Jay. And so there you go. Balor and Damian Priest end up winning the match, retaining the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. So post-match, Drew McIntyre stood at the top of the ramp. He kept staring down at the ring. Rhea Ripley came out and stood next to McIntyre. McIntyre looked over at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley extended her hand for McIntyre to shake. So McIntyre shook Rhea Ripley's hand. McIntyre then smiled at Rhea. She smiled back at McIntyre. And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. So we got it. We finally got McIntyre turned heel tonight. And McIntyre has now joined the Judgment Day. So it was a slow build to get to McIntyre's heel turn, but I'm glad we finally got it tonight. But overall, Monday Night Raw, boring, awful show this was. Terrible. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all on Wednesday night for AEW Dynamite. So see you all then, and be sure to check out my DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K update that I uploaded earlier today. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check that out. So see you all later.